Hey, friends, it's Matt down here in the Seacrest studio, and I've got some very special guests with me today. We've got Maya and Jordan Elsass. Hey! And the crowd goes wild. So thanks so much for being here with us, Jordan. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to my buddy Maya, and she's got some stuff to ask you.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah. So first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for calling in. I've been so excited to talk to you, and I can't believe this is happening. So thank you.
Thank you, Maya. I appreciate it. It's my pleasure.
So my first question for you is, when was the first moment that you knew you wanted to be an actor?
You know, I'd be lying if I said there was a first moment when I won. Well, that's okay. That's not necessarily true. So what happened was I've always been kind of like a bare minimum guy. And so I would always kind of like in school, I would get A's, but the A's would be a 90. Like I kid you not, like I would almost always have like, sometimes it would be a very high B or a very low A, but very consistently it would be like, I'd get like 91s, 92s as grades. Like I was always like bare minimum. What can I do just to stay by, but still do well? You know what I mean? But like, I always calculate, I'm like, how can I do this? But like, make it a little easier, you know what I mean? And it's kind of a good trait, but also kind of a bad trait to have, because it's like, how can I not give this my all, but still get it done. And so I didn't really do like a lot of extracurricular activities for that reason. I was like, I don't really need to do that. I'll just sit at the house and play video games. And I loved playing video games. I loved Halo and Call of Duty. And, I was probably about 12 or 13. And actually back then, I don't even know if I was allowed to play Call of Duty, but I liked Mario or something like that. And, I had a certain amount of time that I was allowed to play it per day. And so my mom said she saw an ad in the newspaper for Annie Get Your Gun. It's a local theater. It's literally right up the street from me right now. And she was like, if you audition to be in this play, I'll give you an extra 45 minutes of video game time for a night or whatever. And so I did it, and I went and I said, I'm also very impulsive. And so without really actually thinking about what that entailed, I was like, sure, why not? What's the worst that can happen? And she's like, yeah, you got to sing and do a monologue and dance. And I was like, oh no, like immediately I'm like regretting it, but I still went for it. And so finally, the time rolls around and it's getting close to the audition, and the song I picked was Do Your Ears Hang Low, right? Like, do your ears hang low, do they wobble to and fro, and classic banger. And so I was like all prepared for that. I had this monologue prepared, and I go in and I did the sides. They have you do like a script from the play, and then they have you do your monologue. And I screwed up on the monologue. I screwed up one line on the monologue. And I just remember like went out to the car and I just broke down into tears. Like I just started crying. I was like, I screwed up. And I thought it was like American Idol. Like I thought they were in there judging me. Like I thought Simon Cowell was in there like, oh, he's terrible. Like, you know what I mean? Like I thought that they were judging me. And, and so for after that, I didn't really want to act. Actually, I was like, this isn't probably my thing. But then I got the role. And so I was like, you know what? Give it a shot. So I kept doing it, and it grew on me. And I actually was like, this is really fun, not only for the acting aspect of it, because it was, the role I had at that time was minuscule, right? But like, I wanted to keep doing it. It was fun. And it was a sense of community and family. And it was quite nice. And so, I just kind of kept doing it. And then I think eventually it got to a point where I realized that I really did like it, but also it didn't pay any money. And I was 15, 16, and maybe even a little younger. And I was like, this is fun, but it would be kind of nice if I could make some money doing this. So I started doing commercials, and commercials are very boring. They're not fun. It's not acting. It's about a look, and so, but it makes good money. I mean, you get paid $1,000 or sometimes even more than that. Sometimes I've heard of people getting paid like $20,000 for like a huge international commercial, just for like a couple of days of work, like insanely good money. So I started doing those for a while. But I think when I realized that I actually really wanted to act and loved acting is when I started getting into the television and the movies, because that stuff, I started with like student films and stuff. That's where I found a passion for it, because I love the subtlety of the performance and how it's very internal, right? Theater's all big and it's, and look at me, and you have to project, and you have to, you have to reach the audience in the back, and you have to tell that story through your body more than your actual emotions. And because, anybody can sit there and go, look sad, and that's what theater is. And it still takes a ton of talent. It's a whole different skill set. But I liked the pure like acting part of it, and the feeling the emotions and letting them come through without trying to. And that's what I think film and TV acting is all about, because the camera is so close, it can see every little detail on your face. So you have to be really, really subtle. And I fell in love with that. And I think that it's something that I love to master and I love to work on. And so that's, I don't know exactly when that was, but when I started doing that, is sort of when I was like, this is what I want to do.
Oh, cool. So you were in the show Little Fires Everywhere. What was the best part of being a part of that project?
I would say with that particular project, I'd say just the experience of it as a whole, because I didn't have a huge part on it, but I had a big enough part where I was there a lot, and I was working a lot, and I got to interact with the whole cast, and I got to hang out with the whole cast, and I got to work with literally Reese Witherspoon was playing my mom. Kerry Washington was in that show, Joshua Jackson, Anna Sophia Robb. There were huge names in that show. And so from literally going from like commercials, student films, a few kind of, maybe kind of, like C-list productions, kind of stuff that was really cool. And to me was already amazing. But then going to this level of like, these are A-list people, and this is a show that cost millions and millions and millions of dollars to produce. It was just such a change, and it was such a shock that it was just so exciting. It was just like this whole new adventure, and I just felt so it just blew my mind. I never thought in a million years that I would be in that spot. I mean, I remember when I got the call that I booked the role, I ran up here to this exact room. My dad was sitting here, and I just broke down into tears, and I hugged him, because I just I was just so happy. I was just so happy, because that's what I dreamed of. And it's what I dreamed of for years prior to that. It's just, I knew that that's what I wanted. I knew that that's what I desired. It's just that chance to show the world that this is something that I think that I can do, and I think that I can do it well. And it made me so happy. And so, again, so to reiterate, just that whole experience was the best part of it. Everything about that was amazing.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So you were also in the series Panic. Were any of the scenes like kind of creepy to film?
Just in general, or is there something specific in mind, or?
No, I didn't have a specific scene in mind, but just like any of it, because the concept was kind of creepy. And
100%. Yeah. No, it's funny because you watch a horror movie and you get scared, even though it's fake. But when you're on set and you actually see the cameras and you see the crew, it's pretty much impossible to get creeped out or scared, no matter what situation you're in. Panic, on the other hand, I just had a blast filming Panic. And I really, truthfully looking back on it, I I wasn't super professional on that set. I was just having a good time with my castmates, just joking around most of the time. And that was such a tiny role that, I was there out of every 7 days that they shot, I was there maybe 1 or 2. So, I didn't have a lot of experience on that set, but I don't think I was ever really creeped out or anything like that. I just think I just had a lot of fun. It just didn't, at that point, it didn't even feel like a job. Like that's probably the least job I've ever had. It was just a blast.
Oh, cool. So do you like thrillers?
I do. I love thrillers. One of my favorite genres for sure. Horror, not so much. Horror, like sci-fi horror, like, zombie monster or whatever, not so much, but like more realistic thrillers, absolutely. Probably one of my favorites.
Cool. Yeah, I'm the same way. I love thrillers, but I hate horror movies.
Yeah.
And like even thrillers, like my favorite are psychological thrillers. And I have like a certain like a list of ones that I know won't creep me out, and like I like trying new ones, but I have a certain list that I sometimes just stick to those.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
100%.
yeah. So you play Jonathan Kent in Superman and Lois, which I absolutely love that show. I'm obsessed with it. Have you always been a fan of the Arrowverse?
No, not at all. Not at all. I've never even seen a single episode of Flash or Arrow or Supergirl. I really hadn't watched any CW shows at all. The only CW show I ever really watched and was actually a huge fan of was Smallville. But that's not Arrowverse. That's just that was its own sort of prior to Arrowverse, kind of its own thing. But it was awesome. I mean, I love Smallville. And so I think that's almost even more ironic and funny because I didn't watch any of the Arrowverse shows, but I did watch the one other CW Superman show and was a huge fan. So, I think that there's definitely, it's not that I couldn't get into those shows. I just don't, generally, I mean, truthfully, I don't really, superhero stuff isn't like really my thing. As far as superhero stuff goes, like the Dark Knight trilogy will always, or at least to this day, it is the top for me. Like that's the pinnacle of superhero cinema. I mean, I just think it's amazing. Like me personally, the new Batman wasn't that big of a fan, and I just think that sometimes it can be a little overdone. And I think that I like things that feel really grounded. And that's something that I don't want to be presumptuous, but I think that our show does well. And I think that's why it's popular, is because there's so many elements to it other than just sort of the sci-fi special effects parts. I think there's a lot of like actual character development and character dynamics. And I think that that makes a big difference in terms of how it's perceived. And it sort of brings a new light to Arrowverse shows or to superhero shows in general.
Yeah. I was never really a fan of superheroes either until like my sister loves Marvel and all the Marvel movies. Right. And there were like, I was never like, I liked some of them, but like I was never really into that. But then I remember there were 2 movies that just kind of made me kind of love that universe, and that was Shazam and Captain Marvel.
Really, Shazam was really good. Yeah, Shazam's a good little flick for sure.
Yeah, and then I mean I watched The Flash when it first premiered, and then like for a couple seasons, and then I don't remember what happened. Like I got distracted and so missed.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, so actually, when lockdown happened, I rewatched all of The Flash, and then I watched all of Arrow, and then just kind of became obsessed with that world even more. And so, um, and like since Superman and Lois premiered, I've been watching that like every week. That's the other Arrowverse show that I love. So
I'm glad to hear it.
um can you relate to Jonathan in any way?
Recently I feel like within the last year or two, it's funny, since I started the show, actually, I've been able to relate to Jonathan more and more. Being in a situation, Jonathan moves from Metropolis to Smallville, and he's sort of thrust into this situation that is very unexpected. And it's just kind of one hammer dropping after another for him, and crazy stuff happening left and right. And, everybody has stuff they deal with, and these 2 years have been, obviously with COVID, especially, everything. It's been a very difficult few years for everybody. But I just know that, like, my life's just been crazy the last 2 years. It's been bonkers, and I think Jonathan's has too. And so I think that alone is a way that I relate to him, with those kinds of struggles. Just things flying at you left and right that you've never experienced before, that you don't really know how to deal with. And you just got to do your best, and trying to make the right choices in the face of there being sort of like an easy path and then the right path, right? I mean, and like Jonathan with the XK, there's the easy path, take the XK and do well in football, and then there's the right path, which is quit the XK, be honest, make amends with everybody, and and he did. And I think that Jonathan is a good guy, and I think that I'd like to think that I'm a pretty good guy too. I have my flaws, but I try to be a good guy, and I try to have integrity, and I'm inspired by Jonathan. I think that he's a really, really good character, and I'm very happy to be playing him. And yeah, I mean, I also relate to him, I think, in terms of just like the kind of going back to the beginning, like just that rapid change, like, going from one place to another, because I moved around a lot when I was younger. So, I moved from state to state. I started in Arizona. I was born there. And then I moved to, I'm forgetting because it was so many different places. I think Arkansas after that, and then Texas, and then Washington, and then back to Texas. And then, just kind of all over. So, and then here I am back in Texas, good old Texas, back again. I guess this is, that's probably a sign. It's my third time living in a house in Texas. So that's gotta be the sign that this is my home,
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Oh, cool. So is there anything that, you can tease about season 3?
No, because I literally haven't. People were asking me yesterday that I was at a fan expo in Dallas, and I got that question a lot. And I think a few people probably didn't believe me when I said this, but like, I hope you'll believe me when I say that I truly have absolutely like no idea. Like, I have no idea. I don't even know who the main villain's going to be, if there's going to be a main villain. I don't know literally no clue. So they've probably begun writing it, and they definitely probably have a game plan, but I'm not privy to that yet. I'll be one of the first to be privy to it, I'm sure, but that's probably still going to be months away. Once they've sort of finalized that game plan. So unfortunately, I can't tease anything about season 3 because I don't know.
Yeah, I do believe you. So
Thank you.
Yeah. So do you have any other projects, upcoming projects that you can tell us about?
No, No, I don't. Season 3 of Superman and Lois. There you go. That's it. I wish that if anybody's watching this, hire me for a movie. I want to do a movie. I'm trying to be in a movie, but that's the next dream. You know what I mean? Like that'd be so sweet to be on the big screen and be in theaters. But maybe one day.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yes, I am envisioning it for you. That I see it happening.
Thank you, Maya. I appreciate that. I manifest it for me because I'll be very happy if that's the case.
Yeah. Cool. So if you had to wake up to the same song every morning, what song would it be?
That's a good question. Did you come up with that one?
Thank you. Yeah.
That's a great question.
Thank you.
The thing is though, like I'm gonna tell you a song now, but if you probably asked me the same question a year from now, I'd probably obviously tell you a different song because music tastes change and very rapidly, and you discover new songs and whatnot. But as of right now, the song that I would choose to listen to wake up to every day for the rest of my life is Vuela Vuela, and then in parentheses Voyage Voyage by Magneto. Give it a shot. It's such a banger. It's such a good song. Like it just makes you want to dance and it's such a happy, upbeat song. And it just makes you want to like go out on a sunny day and just dance down the street. Like it's such a good song. And I put all my boys onto it. Like they're all like, cause I don't speak Spanish and it's a Latin song, right? I mean, it's in Spanish, but just the beat and the sort of like 80s like synth vibe of the instrumental is like, it's a masterpiece. So I really like that song. So I'd probably listen to that every day.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I love like the 80s vibe and music. So
You would love it. Check it out.
okay. Oh, cool. Yeah, I will look it up right after the interview. Yeah. So thank you for that. So what is your favorite thing to do when you have a day off?
Just see my friends, watch a show with my family and hang out and have dinner. Adventures. I'm always looking for I'm an adrenaline junkie. And if I'm not on the move and I'm not, doing something stimulating, I'm bored. And I need to learn that's kind of a flaw because I need to learn to be more comfortable with just being, you can't be doing stuff all the time. I need to learn to be more comfortable with just laying down and taking a deep breath and, or playing a video game or reading a book. But I've grown much worse at that in the last few years. I feel like I'm always just like, go, 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 go. But I enjoy it too. I also enjoy like being like, hey, well, what are we doing next, guys? Let's go to the lake. Like, let's go hike. Let's go do this, Yeah. So it really depends on the day, depends on the weather. Like when I'm in Vancouver shooting the show, it sucks for me personally because it rains a ton there and I'm there during the rain months of the year, right? Like right now it's kind of sunny there, or I think actually crazily enough, it's still raining some. It's literally called like people there call it Raincouver for a reason. But it, but here in Texas, almost sunny every day. It's also really, really hot. But I still rather have really hot and a beautiful sunny day than cold and rainy. So so I mean, just anything, just going out, walking, going for a nice walk, listening to music, riding a scooter, skateboard.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So what movie or show always makes you laugh no matter how many times you've seen it?
I like both of the Jump Street movies a lot. I'm a big fan. I'm a big Jonah Hill guy. I think that he's my favorite comedian. He's hilarious. Like Jonah Hill and Wolf of Wall Street, so good. He makes the movie in I love Leo in that movie too, but like Jonah Hill's character makes the movie. And the same thing with both of the Jump Street movies. Like he makes the movies 100%. Like again, Channing Tatum, cool guy. He's funny. But Jonah Hill's just freaking hilarious. And so I always laugh at the one scene. And have you seen the Jump Street movies?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. The one scene where he does the slam poetry and he's like, Cynthia, Jesus died for our Cynthias. That's like that still to me. Like I will die. Anytime somebody brings that up, I'll just die laughing because that's the funniest freaking thing. It's so good. He's so good.
Yeah. Those movies are really funny. I've never actually seen The Wolf of Wall Street, but I think we meant to watch it a few years ago and then for some reason never did. So maybe we'll watch it soon.
I mean, be careful who you watch that one with because it's, it's got some what do they call it? Not suitable for children. What do they call it? It's got some questionable material. That's for certain, but it's a great movie, amazing movie, and it's almost more of a comedy than it is like a drama. Like it's sort of set up to be a drama, but like it's so outrageous that it's kind of a comedy, and that's what I like about it. I think it rides that line very well of like this dramatic, semi-true story, but it also has so many comedic elements because it's just so outrageous and ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. My mom and my sister and I basically watch everything together. So we're like,
so maybe watch that one on your own if you want to watch it. I'll tell you that.
I don't think I'd want to watch it alone, but I mean, there are like some, like movies and shows that we watch that my sister and I are always like tell our mom if we were watching this with anybody else we would be so uncomfortable, but we're never uncomfortable watching that stuff with her because we're just all the three of us are just so close, and so we're completely comfortable watching.
That's good.
So. Yeah, it was pretty funny a few years ago. I remember I was talking with a friend about some movie and saying that they were like, well, I hope you watched it with somebody. And I said, yeah, we watched, like, my sister and I watched it with our mom. We watch everything together. And the person I was talking to was like, I don't think there's things I'd want to watch with my parents even now.
Right. Even as a grown adult. Yeah, it's still like.
Yeah. And I was just like, well, my sister and I are lucky that we just we're fine watching everything.
That's cool. And your mom's like, you're lucky too that your mom's so chill, because for me, I'm the same way. Like, I don't mind watching stuff with my parents that's got like R-rated stuff in it. It's more just like they get very uncomfortable. They're like, oh, we gotta skip it. It's like, no, relax. Like it's part of the movie. It's a movie. Relax. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like they don't get that. They're just like, oh, I can't watch this.
Yeah. Yeah. We just watched last night the new movie, Good Luck to You, Leo Grand.
Okay.
With Emma Thompson. And that it's really good. And for everybody at the hospital, it's definitely for older kids because, again, there's some scenes in that. And like the whole premise is definitely for older kids. But yeah, again, I watched it with my mom and my sister, and it was really good. So I highly recommend it for everyone who's old enough to watch it. Yeah. So, what topic could you give a TED Talk on, but you're totally unqualified to give a TED talk on?
Love and relationships. You like that?
Yeah.
It's true. I ain't lying. I am unqualified, but I.
Yeah.
I do it just for fun. I do it. I'd hop up on that stage and I'd pour my heart out. And people would be like, is this guy okay? Like, is this guy good?
Yeah. I like that answer. I don't think I've ever heard that answer before. So
like that. You like that honesty?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I would be totally unqualified for that too. I think I just go with talking about like rom-coms and because
guys, The Notebook.
Yeah, because those are some of my favorite movies, and I'd probably just be like, you know what, real love isn't like this, but I'm gonna wish it was. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So my last question for you is, who do you consider to be a real life superhero and why?
My parents, 100%. And that's like, that might be like kind of a cliche or like a very common answer, but like truly, like, I don't know how they do it. I feel weak whenever I'm around them. I feel weak in comparison. And, they're the strongest people I know by far. I mean, it's really unbelievable. Like, I've never met people that are just so resilient and so driven and so like they're 100% bound by their morals, and they're 100%. They are just true people of integrity and people of honesty and people of faith, and it is something that inspires me every day. And it's, without them, I would be straight up. I'd be a loser without my parents, without the way they raised me, and without the way they've mentored me. I don't know where I'd be. So I'm extremely grateful. And I would say that they're the real life superheroes. Truthfully, I mean, I can think of other people that have inspired me a lot. I can think of other people that are super, but I can't think of anybody that's like superhero level. I can think of other people that are awesome, but not like that.
Oh, yeah. My mom and my sister are definitely my real life superheroes. Yeah.
I believe it. I believe it 100%. I bet they're amazing.
Yeah, they're the best. When lockdown and quarantine happened and everybody was stuck inside for months, we were all saying like 6 months in, we were like, well, it's a good thing we're not sick of each other yet. So yeah, and they've always been my real life superheroes, but then it was during lockdown that was like, yeah, definitely that I'm not sick of you guys yet. And so yeah. Well, thank you so much for calling in. I have had the best time talking with you. And I still can't really believe I'm talking to you. So.
Well, Maya, you're awesome. And I appreciate you had some really, really good questions that, I'm used to hearing the same questions kind of like over and over. And, you had some good ones that I'd never heard before. And so I appreciate the creativity with those, and keeps it fresh, keeps it new, and keeps keeps me more engaged, and it feels more like an actual conversation. Like I'm actually talking to you rather than just, some interviews. It's more just like blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I liked when Jonathan did this in that episode. That was fun to film. You know what I mean? But like, you had some great questions, and I had a blast talking to you. So I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. Great job, Maya and Jordan. Thanks again for being with us. We really appreciate it. Once again, the crowd goes wild for Jordan Elsass. Yay! We appreciate you, Jordan. We hope you have a great day.